Namaskar and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Diversey, Hotelier, the GM Show, Season 2, Episode 16, and the sixth one in the North. Today, Friday, the 1st of September. We have an amazing set of speakers over here today and an equally good subject and a very important one. Striving for excellence, addressing operational challenges in India's hospitality industry. All right, before I really go ahead any further, let me bring in my partners, our sponsors for the series. Also, let me speak over here about the forthcoming BW Hotelier Indian Hospitality Summit and Awards, which are due in a few days on the 20th and 21st of October, Friday and Saturday, at the Pullman, New Delhi, Eros City. The nominations are open. They close in 3 days on Monday, the 4th of September. You still have these many days, today, tomorrow, Sunday, and Monday, 4 days actually, to file in your nominations. They're very easy to maneuver, navigate, and uplink and fill in. They're all online and very, very navigational friendly. All right, so get your data. All that you have to do is get your data ready and then just copy paste. It's boom, it's pretty good, cool. All right, now let's get the show moving. All right, let me bring in my dear friend, Mohammad Shoeb. Mohammad Shoeb is the AVP for North India for Pride Hotels. Welcome to the show, Shoeb.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna. Thanks for having me on the show. Thank you, fellow panelists, as well as the viewers.
Pleasure.
Very good afternoon to you.
Next in is my good friend from Greater Noida, Anirban SARKAR. He's the general manager of the rather well-appointed Radisson Blue Hotel there. Welcome to the show, Anirban.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna, for having me over. Thank you, fellow panelists, and thank you, viewers. Good evening to everybody, and I'm looking forward to a very engrossing discussion.
Thank you, Anirban. Next in is Kapil Vig. Kapil is the general manager of the Crowne Plaza, New Delhi in Rohini. Welcome to the show, Kapil.
Thank you so much, sir. Pleasure to be here on this platform, and thank you, BW Hotelier. Looking forward to a healthy discussion.
I happen to be in the city. You just left to move to Delhi. I'm in Agra. I log in from here.
Enjoy the city of Taj Mahal.
All right. Thank you. Next in is my good friend Rakesh Sethi. He's moved in recently from Bangalore to Delhi, his hometown. He's the general manager of the Radisson Blue Hotel, New Delhi in Dwarka. Welcome to the show, Rakesh.
Thanks a lot, Bhuvanesh. Looking forward to an engrossing discussion.
Pleasure, sir. Last but not the least, my immediate neighbor, not very far from my home, Davinder Judge. Like with Kapil and Anirban, this is his first show with us. Welcome to the show, Davinder Judge. He's the general manager of the Eros Hotel, New Delhi in Nehru Place.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna. Thank you for inviting me. And thank
pleasure,
you.
Sir.
Yeah, and I'll be happy to share my views. And thank you to all the panelists over here, please.
All right. So a bit of housekeeping on the show. This show moves across regions from north, south, west to the east, then into the northeast and central. It is held twice a week, every Thursday and Friday, 4 to 5 p.m. Block your time. We are completing 16 episodes today. And I think we're just about halfway point, right? So you can imagine how much we've covered and how much further we will go. This show is very interesting. We talk about some current topics, a lot about the future, of what we've achieved and how much further we have to achieve. And we debate these important topics with experts who've given decades of their life to this industry and have done well for themselves. So a bit about the subject, striving for excellence, addressing operational challenges in India's hospitality industry. Look, hospitality is at the cutting edge of luxury, all right, and matching service delivery. And if one has to strive for excellence to be counted by discerning and demanding global travelers who pay big bucks, or may I say top dollars. And big long gestation investments call for deft management controls and better execution to be able to deliver such world-class standards and service. And that too across all aspects about a luxury hotel. Look, luxury is why hotels are there. Otherwise, everybody could go to lodges, right? They could go to dharamshalas. They could go to homestays. Homestays have also upped their act, but these gentlemen sitting over there who draw fat salaries, right, actually head assets which are expensive. Ask them the number of people they have in each hotel and the big crores which are spent on these hotels. The investments don't come back easily. And they slog it out daily, day in and day out. So let me begin with you, Shoeb, if I may, and roll with the first question. Are you ready, Shoeb?
Yes, yes.
All right. So tell me, let's begin with an introduction to operational challenges. Why don't we set the stage by discussing the unique operational challenges faced by the hospitality industry, especially in India? And you sit in Eros City, so there you are.
So, Mr. Khanna, thank you very much for this question to me. Due to the paucity of time, I would like to touch upon two key, challenges which hospitality industry faces today, more so in Eros City as well as in Central India. I'd like to mention here that, as we know, after the pandemic, in last 1.5 years, our business has come back. Come back and how? So we have been in business, and the biggest challenge post-pandemic has been to attract the talent for the hospitality industry. We all know that more than 50% of the hotel management graduates who pass out from the hotel management colleges do not choose hospitality as an option. They rather choose airline, banking, the other segments like cruise ships and many other streams, and they do not opt for the hospitality industry. It is time for all of us to, instill that confidence in the younger generation or the budding hospitality professionals to come and join the hospitality industry. This is part number one. The other challenge has been retaining the talent which we acquire. Now, what has happened is that the market has opened up. You know that international market has opened, which has been double whammy, because there has been a lot of demand in the Gulf countries as well as Europe and Far East for the skilled manpower, which has made the matter more complex. One more point which I would like to bring in here is that hospitality industry is no more industry which is only there in the metro cities. Now, most of the national and international brands have penetrated into 2-tier cities and 3-tier cities, thereby creating the opportunities, in smaller cities. So, for example, who would have imagined 3 years back that in Dehradun, city like Dehradun, you will have so many branded hotels? So now what has also happened is that people always like to work closer to their parents, closer to their hometowns. This has made the situation more complex. Many of us are trying to lure, the young talent. What we are also doing is that we are moving from 4 offs to 6 offs to 8 offs, so that their work-life balance, which is one of the key things which is there in the minds of people when they choose their career. So my son used to work for another brand and used to get 8 offs, and I was getting 6 offs. So I was also insisting that why not we have 8 offs, and work-life balance remains to be a focal point for the younger generation. Now, what has also happened is that, in the quest of hiring these young professionals, but many a times we forget to treat, the younger generation with respect. So I always say that when we hire when these young budding hospitality professional come in the second year during the training to the hotel, we always put a lot of emphasis that we should treat them very well. Challenges are there, but all the hospitality chains are trying their level best to overcome these challenges. We must also try, and I follow a quote from Richard Branson, that train people well enough so that they can leave, but treat them well enough so that they don't want to leave. There's another important saying which is there from Eleanor Roosevelt. When you're dealing with yourself, deal with mind. When you're dealing with the people, make sure you deal with heart. So all in all, this is first thing which we have. The other important issue at the industry is the inflation and the rising cost of operation. To tell you in brief, in the first 5 months of the financial year last year, as compared to this year, we have spent 30% more on the payroll cost, whereas the revenues have only increased by 10%. Similarly, the food costs, the ingredient costs have gone up, annual maintenance costs have gone up. All these costs have gone up, so making it more complex. However, the life of a GM or an administrator is that you have to navigate through these challenging times and make sure that the hotel is in profit and kicking. So I would like to say that all the GMs have made sure in all their respective hotels that they do well to navigate through the pressurized times and through these challenges and come out with flying colors. Thank you.
Extremely well said. Your quotes actually sum it up so well. We're also, Shoeb, I'm going to take those quotes from you, but I must tell you, we are actually cradling the talent of the future for this industry. The onus is on us on how well do we handle it. There is a saying in Urdu which is say, "Bacche gumbad ki आवाज होते हैं." वो जो कल बोलेंगे वो आज सुन रहे हैं. So I just hope they are hearing the right stuff and we are speaking the right stuff and teaching them the right stuff. So the onus is on us. We in many manners are gurus for them. We are their parents because they spend more time with us than they spend at home. All right. So yeah. So
Mr. Khanna, I would like to add a small point. It's a lovely industry and we would like to encourage all the young professionals to come and join because it is very interesting to work in a hotel. That's what I want to say.
This is a fantastic industry. Look at the large and fantastic assets and expensive assets which you see behind each of these gentlemen, right? They may not look very complicated from here. Get inside. They are fun. They're complicated. They are a big ship in the high seas, right? They go through good weather, they go through rough weather, but they come out winners. So, yep. All right, Anirban. So, if I may drive from Eros City into Greater Noida and come over to you.
Yeah.
All right, I have two parts in this question for you, which hear carefully, right? If you miss out anything, ask me, I'll repeat it again. Revenue management. Discuss strategies to optimize revenue through dynamic pricing, upselling, and effective revenue management practices. One. The second part is adapting to seasonality. If you're talking about revenue, we've also got to talk about seasonality. Address strategies to manage the seasonal fluctuations in demand that impact staffing, inventory management, and revenue.
Right. So, as you began the session pointing about the huge amount of investment that goes into making these assets, and of course, any investor would look forward to a healthy return for their investments. And as we have historically seen, though it looks glitzy and luring, but the returns are not as good as it should be. So there comes the role of revenue management, that how can we maximize our revenue to bring in more profit and get better returns for the investment that the investor has made. Now, to talk about my particular property, I operate out of a city which has a huge effect of not only seasonality, but because we are closer to a convention center, because of the convention center, sometimes our demand will, skyrocket, and sometimes it will plummet down to a very normal level. So the delta between our highest ADR and the lowest ADR is almost 8 times. I mean, we have calculated that our highest ADR would be 8 times more than our lowest ADR. So there lies the question of maximizing the opportunity to kind of get as much revenue as possible when there is enough demand. So first thing is about dynamic pricing. We should be able to price it right so that it's high enough, but it's also good enough for a person to buy. So dynamic pricing is the first thing that one needs to look into while doing the revenue management. Secondly, when we increase our prices, it's also about convincing the customer or the consumer to buy the same product at a higher price. So basically, that skill or that knowledge transfer by which a person will be happily convinced and buying the product at an increased price. And third, but it's also the most important point, that how we price it well enough where we kind of don't lose out on the opportunities that are there, and at the same time we also kind of navigate between the demand and supply situation that is there, particularly at that point of time. So, so these are the few things where revenue management, the knowledge of revenue management comes into picture. I mean, it was started by the airlines industry, and slowly we were a little slow to kind of adapt to that change. But now, now that we have adapted to it, and now that we are implementing the strategies, the results are visible. Like in today's economic times, we may have all seen that Marriott has mentioned that vis-a-vis their 2019 figures, their revenue revenue per available room has gone up by 35%. So have anybody else's. I mean, our revenue or revenue per available room has increased quite a bit because of effective revenue management. So these are the few things that we take into consideration. And of course, seasonality, which is perennial. I mean, of course, every year we have to go through that seasonal change. For example, in our market, the half yearly numbers for April to September is only about close to 40% of our annual revenue. So the more than 60% comes from the other 6 months. So obviously, we have to maximize when the demand is high, when the opportunities are there. And if we are unable to capitalize on that, we don't realize our potential. So that's how we look at revenue management. We have to have professionals managing that functions well. We have to be on our toes because, we have seen how dynamic the business environment is today. All of us have gone through tremendous negative demand when the COVID happened. And there also revenue management played a role because at that point of time, we had to create demand within what we had. I mean, a lot of channels of business were closed. So we had to capitalize on, the available opportunities that were there at that point of time. And everything put together, we have navigated out of it well. We are seeing that the business is bouncing back. As Mr. Shoeb pointed out, that while business is bouncing back, it is also about, growing the business profitably. It's not about only, getting revenue. It's the profitable revenue that matters more, considering the inflation and other price rise. And that's how we have to look at revenue management and, help us perform better business-wise.
Yeah, well said. These, you were speaking about challenges. These are happy challenges to have, when your market is on a high. So you're navigating through good streams of a clean air, right? Rather than deal with choppy seas. So these are good challenges. Yeah. So well put, Anirban. Kapil, if I may come to you.
Yes, sir.
I've now started doing two parts to every question. So I'll give them off to you now.
Sure.
All right. So let's talk about talent acquisition and retention. Extremely important, and skill development. Within talent acquisition and retention, if you can address the difficulties in recruiting and retaining skilled staff in a competitive job market, one. Skill development, if you can discuss the importance of ongoing training and development programs for your employees in hospitality and how they contribute to operational excellence. I hope that's not too long.
No, it should be fine. We can carry on talking on this topic. As Mr. Shoeb rightly pointed out, the biggest challenge today the industry has, not only today, I think this challenge is going to be there for next few years, is talent, right? Talent and retaining that talent. How I would like to look at it is talent needs to be broken down into two aspects. So one is the current experience and quality talent which is already there in our hotels or in the industry, and the challenges with retaining them or hiring them. The other part is hiring a fresh graduate from the college or the Gen Z, as we call it right now. They have an absolutely different expectation from the jobs from what we've been used to. The current talent which we already have, I think what they are looking at, the challenges which we have right now, is there is a high demand for a right talent for the right place, but extreme shortage of those people. So as a result, in an employee or a talent today has multiple jobs offered. They pick and choose which to join, which not to join. In fact, I was talking to my HR, the gap between a job offer letter and a job joining is nearly 50% to 60% dropout. So we are literally rolling out two offers for the same position so that at least one of them joins in. I mean, that is a wash we are having closer to the date. So, and it's only growing and started to affect even senior management hirings. That is a big gap and a big challenge which we have. The other one is, of course, the overseas hotels which are not attracting our talent, as Mr. Shoeb also pointed it out. I think the other major one which we all need to look at is the Gen Z which is coming in, and how do we make sure that we get some talent into our hotels. We are all aware what COVID did to the hospitality industry. We are all aware that how our employees and staff, they all suffered, most of them. That has scared the Gen Z to take up colleges. As of recently, I heard the data that even hotel schools like IHM are suffering with nearly 60% of the seats being vacant. So you're actually looking at a bigger problem down the line. In next 2-3 years, you will have nobody to join the hotel industry. As it is, the washout of people passing out and joining is 50%. So we really need to tweak now. How do we look at retaining them? I think a few key things which we can look at is, of course, work-life balance. We all spoke about, Mr. Shoeb did speak about the 6 offs, 8 offs. I think that is critical. It is non-negotiable for us moving forward. We have to move across as an industry to 8 offs so that we can offer that. Second is salary has to be competitive. But I think above all, the biggest is, we don't look at our employee journey when he joins into our hotels. And that is your first 60, 90 or 120 days program. They really need to be handheld. You need to look at your buddy system. You need to look at how does his first 60 days go? What trainings is he attending? How can we assist him? Counseling of that new employee. When I say counseling, good counseling, where are you? How can we help you? I mean, that connect has to be built up. If you don't, you lose the new joinee. And finally, the attrition in our industry is the highest from 0 to 6 months, nearly 60% of our industry. It is not your old timers. It is not people who've been working with us for years. It's actually the new joinees who join in and move out, all right, to a greener pasture or a better opportunity outside. The other one is, I think, social media engagement for Gen Z is important. Be it LinkedIn, be it Facebook, be it Insta. These days they actually check us out before they join. What are the working culture of this hotel? How are we supporting the people? So having a clear communication with your team, building a growth plan for them, supporting them in a growth plan, it's highly critical. I think, as GMs, or as senior managers, a lot of us become very selfish to retain a good employee who's beneficial for your operation and doing wonderfully well, rather than looking at planning his or her growth path and supporting them in personal development plans, or even getting them moved within the group if you can. That way your retention increases, and the employee talks highly about your company. Another big factor, which I am a big vocal supporter of, Bhuvanesh ji, is that I think having a FNF of an ex-employee is a critical part. We all follow that old thumb rule, or it has to be 60 days or 90 days or whatever. Why? Why can't we just be part of a normal cycle? Because your biggest advocate of your work culture is the employee who leaves that work culture and goes to another hotel and place, right? So, and the pain point is my clearance does not come. So we here, in fact, have been quite rigid with it. We are enforcing it. We try and give clearance immediately so that, the employee outside who's worked hard, is given his blood and sweat to the hotel for the last few years, should get fairly treated. Few other initiatives which might work is, I think, tying up with a good hospitality college. When I say tying up, it is not just for an outdoor catering event or an ODC, but I think more like in IHG, we follow something called as IHG Academy, where we tie up with a local hospitality college. So that basically means we address the students every now and then, attend guest lectures, give them hotel tours, get their interest going. How does the kitchen operate? As you rightly said, behind these buildings is a very complex setup machinery which runs. And once they see it, their interest seems to get better. Apart from that, you have other programs which most of us have, be it we call it management training program or HOT program, or we have Embark and Aspire programs in IHG. They really need to be restructured. That would be, from my point of view, I think these are the critical ways of looking at trying to retain people and attract talent.
Yeah, good. Some very valid points that you've made. The employees who are actually leaving us are our biggest ambassadors. All right. Life is all about word of mouth. Even when you're going in for a marriage alliance, people call up. Have you heard about this boy? What do you have to say? What about the parents? What about the girl? So
it's not only customers. I think it is even your employees.
You're not doing yourself great service by sending out unhappy employees. I'd much rather have employees going out who say a good word and want to come back.
Yeah, because it's all about work culture, Mr. Bhuvanesh.
Absolutely.
One important thing which I wanted to add was we have an initiative with a university called Medhavi University, and these guys are doing a work skill based 3-year course. So essentially, we hire them from day one. It's a 3-year course. They work in the hotel. They study in the hotel. They have a fixed shift. They don't have night shift. They don't have evening shifts. They have 8 offs. They get leaves for their exam, and we pay them stipend. So at the end of 3 years, they go through their exam. They will get certified by the hotel management, and you have the opportunity of having employees who will join you, because they've been working with you for the last 3 months. I think skill or programs like that will help us tide over the challenges which are very much in our face.
All right, excellent. So Rakesh, let me come across to you if I may.
Yes, please.
I have 2 parts again. It's about quality control and consistency, 1, and 2 is vendor relationships. In the first, if you can explore strategies to maintain consistent service quality across various touch points within the hospitality establishment, and for vendor relationships, if you can address the importance of building strong vendor relationships.
Absolutely. I feel these are very, very relevant topics in our times, in our industry. So addressing the first one, when we talk of quality, just a basic definition of quality, people understand quality as products and services being offered should meet the expectations of those being served, which in our case is the customer. So we are in a people's business. Hospitality is definitely a a people's business, and providing quality services and products is a must. The question is, how do we do it? So there's a science to it. How we do it at my hotel rather, there are 4 steps. First one, we define as investing in our most important asset, which many of my fellow panelists said is our people. So invest in our people, we get them onboarded through an employee-friendly, engaging, and very, very entertaining mobile app. People onboard themselves in terms of the brand culture, in terms of the brand ethos, on the convenience of their device in their free time. They have to, of course, finish it within 30 days of joining, but they do it at their leisure. Second point is shop floor training. So when they go into the respective departments, what we do is make sure there are certified departmental trainers who are expert at their jobs. People are inducted into the department through the SOPs, through the product knowledge, and most important in our business is situation handling, right? So this is the second part. Third part, I think Kapil touched on it, was about buddy system, a very, very time-tested, fruitful system wherein the new colleague is allotted to an experienced one, and then both of them spend a lot of time together so that the new one gets the confidence to sail on his or her own by the time it is time for the person to get ready. And the last, but the most important part is when we do all this, there has to be a mechanism to check the effectiveness. You are doing all the onboarding, you're giving training, you're giving inputs. How do you find out if they are having the desired effect? So what we do is GMs, HODs, L&D manager, we all spend a lot of time on the shop floor, be it the hotel lobby, be it guest floors, be it banquet halls, be it the restaurants, taking direct feedback from the customers to ensure that the brand promise and the quality that we stand for is being delivered. So that's part one. We come to consistency. Now, consistency and quality are related. So consistency can be easily defined as a quality of delivering products and services in a similar way over a period of time. Now, there's a small thing here. So being consistent in how the customer experience is delivered has a different meaning to consistently delivering the same experience every time. So there's a play of words here. But having a culture which reinforces the employees to connect with the customers, it can be the difficult part. So how we make this happen? There are 2 situations. I would say there is a situation where we have to have a robotic approach or a mechanical approach so that the product being delivered is consistent every time to each customer. Heard of the turtle and the hare story? Nobody expected the turtle to win. Hare had everything going for him in terms of the resources, agility, the will to do it, everything he had. But at the end of the day, there was a surprise winner, which was the turtle, because he kept at it. The consistency was there to go on and never give up. The second situation, which I personally see, is something different, where we create strong emotional connections through a human approach to deliver an experience that is customized. Right? So these are the 2 situations that we can look at. And personalizing experience is a forte that we all believe in and we all deliver day in and day out. So that's my bit on quality and consistency. And coming to vendor relationships. We have strong vendor relations. So it's very important to set the expectations right at the beginning of a relationship. So we are strict on calling our vendors as partners. There are partners in success. They're not only vendors, because we are looking at a mutually beneficial long relationship. So we don't believe in having relationships which are transactional. There has to be heart behind the relationship. So the result is the openness that with which we deal with our vendors goes a long way in ensuring we stay as preferred partners and we both succeed together. So those are my 2 bits.
You spoke about the buddy system. We've all had the buddy system to grow up with, right?
Yes.
Our father was our buddy, our brother was our buddy, right? Our sister was our buddy, our mother was a buddy. School, we picked up buddies, right?
Indeed.
That's how this hand-holding is the one which helps us to cross all the divides.
Absolutely.
And eventually helps us to grow up.
Well said.
And let me tell you, it's not very difficult. These are easily doable things which we're forgetting the very, very basics. And thank you, Rakesh, very valuable inputs.
Thank
Davinder,
you.
my next door neighbor, if I may. You're muted, Davinder. You're muted. Okay. All right. So I want to pick on technology integration and data management and analysis with you, if I may. For the first part on technology integration, if you can highlight the role of technology in streamlining operations, enhancing guest experience, and sorry, just a moment. And managing reservations, payments, and communication. And in the second part, data management analysis, highlight the value of data-driven decision-making and the challenges of managing and analyzing large volumes of data.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna. First of all, may I take this opportunity to thank yourself and the BW Hotelier to bring us together to share such viewpoints, because it's very important for the us to share our points to the the people who are listening to us, to make them understand that what all is going behind the scenes to make sure that we nurture this industry and nurture our colleagues for future. So thank you very much for that. Coming to the point over here, sir, technology is the need of the hour. So I would say there's not even a single vertical or industry which is not touched by technology today. So technology is actually transforming majorly everything around. I think the latest example of technology not to miss out is the proud movement of Chandrayaan-3 landing on moon. Probably that was one of the latest thing in technology, that how it's evolving. So similarly, I would say that technology can help the hotel industry to put their guests on the moon too, in terms of feeling how they feel about it. So definitely technology is a very crucial part of how we deal with our clients and how do we manage it. But it's very important. I feel technology in our industry has to be very carefully utilized. The hospitality industry is more about human and human touch. So use of technology has to be very carefully managed, because how much digital integration is enough so that it does not rob our customers of the human touch of hospitality. The role of technology, if I may say, starts much prior to the actual arrival of the guest at the hotel. In today's time, when the guest, they first reaches us virtually through the online channels, social media, the influence and the footprints that we leave on all online channels gives the big impression to the guests about the hotel. Technology today is helping streamlining our operations on day-to-day basis. As technology has evolved, it has helped hotels in being better at understanding guest preferences. So many softwares, so many apps has been evolved over the time to help hotels to become better on managing guests in terms of technology. If I talk about technology today, starting from the glitch management, on-job request management, the PMS, sales and catering softwares, the store management system, everything is evolving about technology. How we are using this technology in terms of collecting the guest preferences, the guest data, using them together. The guest preferences, guest history is such a resourceful and powerful tool for any organization. If utilized well and utilized appropriately, we can actually exceed our guest expectations every time. But that's a very important factor of it, that how we are utilizing it and how we are managing our data in the hotel. With the knowledge and the appropriate use of technology, the two more important aspects of technology I feel is, one is the sustainability and lessening the footprints, carbon footprints and other things. The latest equipment, like in terms of monitoring your emission, monitoring your STP plants, water quality, and many more things. It's helping the organizations to save cost, to be better in terms of environment friendly also at the same time. a very important aspect of technology I would like to touch upon. Many of our colleagues just mentioned about the talent and the staff trainings. The best of the brands today have online training portals, which is actually helping the teams to get trained and skilled online at their will and the leisure time, which is a very helpful resource.
I agree with you. Technology is actually such an enabler today. You don't have to lean up and call up people, and they don't have to work on long sheets and say, Mr. Judge, here it is. This is what you have. Now do it. Right. So,
yeah,
but it's so simplified and so easy to maneuver that even our old parents can handle them today. WhatsApp is an example. How do you simplify technology? How do you uncomplicate? Right?
Absolutely.
Davinder, we've come to half point of the stage. I have to take a short commercial break. All right, if you don't mind. All right.
That's okay.
Yeah. All right, the BW Hotelier Indian Hospitality and Summit and Awards are right around the corner. October 2021, Friday and Saturday. Block your time. This will be virtual and physical on ground. Register yourself. And also the nomination. The awards are going to be on the second day, Saturday, October 21 in the evening. But to win that trophy, to win that award, you have to nominate yourself, and all that you have is 4 days until 4th of September. That is the coming Monday. Log yourself in. Very easy to maneuver and get in. All right. Best of luck. May the best winner win. Thank you. All right. We're back to the show. All right. We have passed the halfway stage. Sorry, Davinder, I had to cut through. We're actually well behind schedule. Yeah,
I actually
have 30 seconds to close.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Yeah. What's happening with this data, a very important part, the second part that you mentioned, I would like to take that. Sometimes what's happening, we're getting into trap of collecting excess data, which is actually delaying of what we have to do. We get into too much of analysis and not able to take a timely decision.
It's called analysis paralysis.
And also the privacy policy is becoming very important as we are moving forward. So the industry has to be very careful with this data and have to safeguard it very carefully. But this data, if properly used, can actually get us to the victory side. As I remember, I was reading a quote by Mr. PSR Oberoi. He said that the devil lies in the detail. That apparently means that if you actually analyze this data, go inside, that's how you will get to know where you want to go right.
All right. Thank you, Davinder. You've made some very valuable observations. Shoeb, I'm sure you can pick from this. Let me come with a short and crispy question to you. Operational innovation. All right. Given your years in the business, right? You'll be the best person placed to answer this. Highlight by examples of how innovative operational practices have helped hospitality establishments stand out. Muted.
Thank you for this question, Mr. Khanna. It's a pleasure to hear all the panel and distinguished panel. It is an amazing experience for me. Mr. Khanna, as far as we are concerned, this is the age of technology, and it is clear that the world is at our fingertips. Thanks to the smartphones, and the hotel industry is certainly catching up with the technological, wave. Digital transformation, mind you, is not at all about technology. it is about acceptance. It is about people, how they accept it. So we must accept that the future is artificial intelligence and the automation. And the key is the adaptation and acceptance. Artificial intelligence is not a substitute for human intelligence. Rather, it is a tool to amplify human creativity and ingenuity. So most of the hotel companies have come up with the apps which involves in contactless check-ins and QR code scanning and seamless departures for the guests, so that they don't have to wait on departure. I was recently in Canada in the month of June to see my son, and I traveled across the British Columbia and many more places and stayed in the Airbnbs. I'm not comparing those Airbnbs with the five-star hotels. However, I would like to tell that you pay online for the Airbnb. You go there, you get the code for the entrance for the door. It's all digitalized. You go and punch that code and open the door. That code is not valid after the 12 noon, which is checkout. So what I'm trying to say is that technology is the boon, but it is the way we use it. And I would like to tell you that our CEO, Mr. Satyen Jain, has been very forthcoming. He's a very tech-savvy person. And post-pandemic, he has evolved and started a system of Google Sheet, and we have dashboards for all the head of departments on Google Sheet, wherein we have recurring tasks as well as the one-time task defined for all the head of department and the team players. Every Monday, we check the KPI and KRA. So we can weekly monitor, by virtue of technology, we can weekly monitor the performance of each individual, how they are performing. As far as our guest satisfaction tracking system is concerned, we have recently tied up with the guest satisfaction tracking system as well as the automation system, wherein, we have evolved our services. What we are doing is that we are benefiting by, the intelligence of the artificial intelligence. The people are coming to Delhi from all over the country. They have different choices. They have different moods. They have different, kind of preferences. So this platform enables us to, map the choices of the people, and we keep on. This is integrated with Opera, interface with Opera, and we can update our guest preferences there. Now, when we talk about the travelers, we all know about it, that millennials and Generation Z is 50% of travelers. We have also mapped their choices and integrated that into our menus, and we have devised the menus accordingly. As far as the future is concerned, it is all about artificial intelligence. On chatbot or on ChatGPT, if you write an apple a day, it will answer automatically, keeps the doctor away. So it is the way we embrace the technology. It is not far from now that we will have virtual assistant for all the HODs, wherein you define the task, you define the timelines, you will get reminders, you will get that job done, because humans sometimes can forget, but not the artificial intelligence.
I'm coming to that, Shoeb. You spoke, interestingly, you spoke about the technological support in Canada while you were at the Airbnb. Do you want that? I don't want that. Hospitality, technology has to assist us, but hospitality should not take over the job of that friendly hotelier that I meet when I go to the hotel. Right.
I have 30 more seconds to go where I was supposed to say.
So my point is, I rate Indian hoteliering, not just hoteliers and hospitality, Indian hoteliering to be far more compassionate, loving, and that touch and feel that you get here.
That was my parting note, Mr. Khanna.
Bolo.
Yes. So what I'm saying is that thank you so much for this time. We are excited to continue our journey, offering the world-class services in the Indian hospitality environment. However, we have to be cautious in using artificial intelligence and technology to sustain the Indian hospitality, which is full of warmth. We are known for warmth. So artificial intelligence will never be able to, replace the warmth what we have in the Indian hotels. I'm a very well-traveled person with more than 41 countries behind me. So I have always felt that we are one of the best countries in the world for hospitality. Thank you so much, Mr. Khanna.
और वो मेरे को यही है ना, ये ना हो कि 12 बजे मेरी चाबी खत्म हो जाए और मैं अपने कमरे में ही ना घुस सकूं. So थोड़ा सा human touch.
I did say that I'm not comparing that with the 5-star hotels, Mr. Khanna.
मेरे को नहीं करना वो जो अमेरिकन और कैनेडियन कर रहे हैं. I want that Indianness, that warmth, touchful. You know, how are you, Shoeb? I've not seen you in a long time. I hope you're comfortable. When you enter the lift guy asks you, how was your day? Did you travel well? He has been trained to say that. But there is an emotion. All right. Anirban,
yes,
again
sir.
from Eros City to Greater Noida. Ajao.
Absolutely.
Wait, remember one thing.
Greater Noida.
Mera suno.
Big events.
Let me tell you, you know, the center of anything and everything that a hotelier does, the industry does, is our guest. So my next question is around that. All right. So tell me two parts: guest expectations, and now this new thing about guest reviews and feedback come on the social media across various platforms. So if you can explore how rapidly evolving guest expectations are driving the need for personalized experiences and efficient service delivery, one, and two, if you can address the challenge of managing online reviews and using guest feedback to continuously improve your operations.
Right. So, can I start?
Please.
Yeah. So in this world of change, I mean, if you all see, the pace of change is increasing. I mean, everything is changing around us. So is guest expectation. So managing change is one of the key thing a business manager has to look into. But to refer to Jeff Bezos's quote, there are few things that are not changing. For example, a guest still would continue to look for great service, fast service, cheaper products, and anything that is kind of in similar nature. So that is much easier for us to manage. I mean, if we just focus on the fundamentals, if we just focus on what the guest is going to continue to expect forever, then the managing of change is going to become easier for us operators. So for us, the focus is to kind of address the basics. We'd continue to make sure that our service is fast enough. We are consistent with our product delivery and service delivery. We are managing our costs, and we are efficiently managing our business to offer great prices to our customers. And of course, in today's day and age, which has also become very, very important, is remaining sustainable while managing the business. I mean, we are one of the most polluting business that is there in this world. So we will have to kind of continue to be very cautious and conscious about that. And when it comes to managing the feedback, especially on an open platform, in an open world where anybody can say anything and that feedback can reach to anybody else in the world, managing feedback is definitely a very crucial thing. I mean, one viral feedback, a negative feedback, can make or break a business at times. But at the same time, we must also realize that as much as negative feedback can kind of pull us down, if we have enough promoters in the business, which is the satisfied or the delighted customers, we will continue to, and if we continue to outnumber, so there comes the, concept of net promoter score. So if we have more net promoters in our business, definitely, online reviews can be kind of less damaging. I mean, negative online reviews. And secondly, what is very important is what we also realize is a guest who has had negative experience in the hotel or in any transaction, will voluntarily probably give the feedback, wherein a guest with a positive experience may or may not give the feedback. So soliciting for feedback from the guests who have had positive feedback is very important. And there has to be a mechanism to capture them and encourage them to give us more such feedback. So I think these are two very crucial points. One is when it comes to expectation, kind of focusing on the basics, not forgetting about the basics. Technology and all of these other fads and trends are fine, but we should not put our focus off the basics. And secondly, we should continue to kind of find our promoters in the business and continue to kind of encourage them to, talk more about what we are doing right. I think these are the two things I would say, which is very crucial that we should continue to focus and manage well.
I'm happy I asked you this question. And also remember, we are lucky to have guest feedback. Imagine a state of void where the guest has come and gone, but he hasn't given us a feedback. But he's given it to somebody else, which may not be to our liking.
Absolutely. I mean, it goes both ways. I mean, we are collecting more number of
and also let me tell you, a guest is within their right to have a higher level of expectation from us. They're not staying over here for free. We're not doing them a favor. They're doing us a favor. They have thousands of choices and they cut through the clutter and come to our hotel and stay and invest in us. They don't spend here, they invest in us, right? So we may as well stretch and deliver, right? Excellence starts from the moment the barricade opens and his car enters to the moment the barricade opens and he exits, right? At every level, we have to stretch and excel. Kyo, Shoeb?
I think a very valid point here. I mean, they're not spending, they're investing. And in fact, they're investing their time. I think in no other business, people invest so much of time in a transaction. I think...
Now, let me tell you, there are two types of travelers, or many types of travelers actually. Let's cut the two big heads. One is the personal travel and the other one is official travel, right? Personal travel, he wants to get away from the mundane, the daily drag of his domestic life and wants good time. He wants to be pampered. They want to be not he or she. They want to be pampered. They want their kids, their parents, themselves to be looked after. So we'd be failing if we don't. And we'd much rather not have an employee who consider it to be a burden to be able to deliver to them.
Absolutely.
Right? Okay. So well said, Anirban. Great response. Kapil, I am circling back to you. आ जाऊं?
Yes. हाँ जी.
मेरा एक पेट सब्जेक्ट है सस्टेनेबिलिटी. मेरे 2-3 पेट सब्जेक्ट हैं. वो मैं चंदन की तरह घिसता हूं. एक डाइवर्सिटी, इंक्लूजन इन इक्वल जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटीज, एक सस्टेनेबिलिटी, कंजर्वेशन, बेसिकली कंजूस. Right? So let me come back to sustainability initiatives with you.
Sure.
If you could explore how integrating sustainable practices into operations can be a challenge, but also contribute to long-term success of a hospitality business, maybe a hotel, maybe your career, maybe anything.
I think it's one of the hottest topic today.
Hottest नहीं boss, आप देख लो, बारिश बेवकत आ रही है, गर्मी बेवकत पड़ रही है.
No, so I think our industry, there have been quite a bit of initiatives which have started to trickle down. Small things like LED is now part of life in hotels. Your aerators are part of life. These are smaller ticket items.
Those are given now.
That is now given, and owners have accepted it. Hotel operators have accepted it with pride. Now, I think we have all started to move towards the other part of sustainability is that we started to look at bulk amenities, reducing plastic, looking at bottling plants, looking at IT will also play a critical role in reducing or affecting sustainability or reducing carbon footprints. For example, digital check-in gets rid of plastic key cards, while e-bill gets rid of reduces your paper being used and so on and so forth. So there are things, but they all demand investment. I think the biggest challenge you have is investment and an ROI on it, because the moment you switch over to a sustainable amenity in the room, be it recycled bathroom requirements like toothbrush, or combs, we have enough options now in the market. They are all 20 to 25% more expensive than the current product which you're using. There are very less choices in the market. When I say choices, there's not many vendors doing that. So it's a monopoly being played out. Hence, the price point is on the higher side. These are from a guest service or a guest touch and feel area. I think other big area which we all need to really push for is green energy. STP is now part of our life. So green energy will give you a huge ROI. I in fact did a project in Agra only when I was looking after the hotel, where I wanted to look at possibility of converting the hotel to a solar energy setup. And the ROI generally for an investment is anywhere between 2.5 to 3.5 years, depending on which city you're working. Rajasthan would be a longer period because unit of electricity cost is lower. Delhi is higher. But that is the future. You have to invest, and that is something I think we need, as operators, need to really convince our owners and companies to really invest in it, because that is something which they will give back, and that is what will help your bottom line. It's a direct profit, it's a straightforward impact on your cash flow as well. So as Mr. Shoeb said earlier, the profitability is reducing with the rising cost in every other aspect of the business. This is one area which can help you to increase your profitability. And once you're able to do that, we can look at investing in more touch points from a guest perspective.
Kapil, I'll tell you, I'll look at sustainability not just from a profitability bottom line or a top line point of view. I'll look at sustainability from a conducive point of view. All right. Where am I burning less? Where am I consuming? Where am I burning less? Where am I consuming less? Where am I wasting less? Right. Yeah. I'd hold everybody by their scruff, right?
You are absolutely right. So we are actually looking at...
each and every... You have to feel guilty. I know of the general manager in the Eros city who removed waste bins. He's not in India right now. Okay, he's got a big job outside.
From the cafeteria.
He was in the Eros city. He removed waste bins from their staff canteen. Plate में उतना ही डालो जितना खा सकते हो, जो डाला वो खत्म करो.
Yeah, there are. We are doing that in our group as well, where we are looking at waste management. When I say waste management, it is not just the OWC.
The very fact, Kapil, we could even tell the guests when we see there are two of them, right, and they're over ordering. Yeah. So you tell them, look, how much are we going to save? Another $1,000, $2,000, right? Well, then that's not loss, but see the waste that we would have saved. Okay, I think your portion is good enough. Yeah. Right, and also we should encourage them to take over those leftovers.
You look at the transformation of all our buffets right across F&B today. They have all become more portion size, individual pieces. That's the reason behind it, so that wastage of food goes down. But yeah, to talk to an owning company, there has to be an ROI angle as well, because he needs to see, okay, if I invest, what do I get back eventually? Till the time boards like NGT make it mandatory for all of us to start following, like they have done for STP, they have done for rainwater harvesting.
True. Or perhaps gradually move away from buffets to live kitchens.
Yeah, but it is coming. It is coming, and the companies which adopt it faster or earlier will be beneficial.
All right, great. I'm happy I engaged in this with you. I'm sorry, I'm very emotional about that. Right. So, Rakesh.
Yes, please.
Aajo.
Bilkul.
Any business which is customer facing, right, and which has to, your supplies are going to be daily, you have a whole lot of things, there'll be crisis. So let's talk about crisis management with you. All right, discuss how the hospitality industry can be prepared to handle crises such as natural disasters, pandemics, or any unforeseen incident for that matter.
So just like sustainability is very close to you, close to your heart, safety, security, fire life safety is very, very important to mine.
मैंने सोचा crisis is very close to me. नहीं.
Crisis handling. So we as custodians of, like you said, expensive assets are primarily responsible for protecting those assets and hundreds of lives or hundreds of souls that enter and exit through that asset every day. So it is absolutely paramount that we take safety and security above everything else when it comes to our stakeholders. I mean, our customers, our colleagues, our community, our owners. And every brand, I'm sure, the brands that I've worked with have brand standard in terms of crisis management guidelines very well laid out. But that is to tackle predictable situations like a fire breakout, a natural calamity, or a law and order breakdown. What we've just emerged from was a crisis of a century. Nobody could see that coming. So the learning from that, what I have learned and what I've implemented is three things. One is be agile. You have to be ready for change. You have to be ready to expect the unexpected. You have to be nimble. You have to be fast on your feet. You cannot sometimes predict the degree of change that is going to happen. And lastly, you have to be able to adapt. Situations change. The unforeseen things will happen. You have to be able to adapt because business has to continue. We have to ensure business continuity does not get disrupted. So part of crisis management we all do in our hotels is these fire drills, evacuation drills, all the other stuff that we do on a regular basis. So in one of my previous organizations, there was an idea mooted wherein we wanted to do it a little differently, because most of the times I've seen, I cannot speak for other panelists, but what I've seen is these exercises sometimes become very mundane. So you call for a fire drill, there's a standard operating procedure you have to follow, exit through this route, come to the assembly area, hold your placard, all that stuff, we all do that. But crisis is not predictable. So when it happens at its own pace, and evolves with it as its own nature. So we started doing an exercise called a tabletop exercise. Some of my fellow panelists might have heard of it. So you have a crisis situation given to you sitting on a table. The crisis management team has its responsibilities defined. As you progress, you have an auditor sitting there who keeps on interjecting. So for example, there's a fire. Theoretical crisis you are facing, there's a fire in the building. You are following your steps, whatever the basic guidelines are. And suddenly he will say, after the evacuation is announced, everybody said we evacuated. Suddenly he will say, oh, a guest is claiming one person has been left behind. What to do? So there are certain situations which are not mentioned in our SOPs. So this is one exercise, one good practice that we started in my hotel also. Also, what has been happening, I'm sure a lot of us must have seen over social media, a crisis involving where an airline offloaded one of a passenger who had paid full ticket. He was offloaded forcefully from the airline. We see instances of data breach. Some hotel corporations also had to face a huge amount of data breach. So all these crises are sometimes possible to control, sometimes not. But what is very important is how we react after crisis like this happens. So I've summarized it in 4 steps.
I'm going to, for paucity of time.
Yes.
I'm going to request you to let me move to the next. But also we need to stay calm. We need to be in a meditative state. We need to take deep breaths. And more than anything else, you remember that guy, Hercules? To carry the Atlas on his back.
Yep.
He also dropped it.
So just one last phrase. Benjamin Franklin very aptly put, by failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail.
क्या मारा यार, आज तुम लोगों ने बड़े quotes मारे हैं.
This is again, like I said, this is a very, very topic very, very close to my heart. 100% attention to this.
यार ये भेज देना, लिख देना तुम लोग.
Done, sir.
Saurabh, we must carry this on to the Twitter, all these quotes. Oh, this is so good. When you repeat that?
By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail.
Oh, yes, true. How, these are so short words, few words, but they're so meaningful. All right, great. I'm happy I did that with you. Right?
Thank you.
You look like that monk who's come out with lessons for us.
Thank you, sir. I don't own any Ferrari, by the way.
All right, Davinder, back to you. So we just left you and we're back holding hands again. Again, you're one of those ones. I have two parts to each question. So we'll talk about interdepartmental collaboration and effective communication. Within the first, if you can discuss, keep it short. Discuss how smooth collaboration between different departments is crucial. If two departments don't speak to each other, we've got something wrong hitting the ceiling.
Super.
And that's for seamless operations. And for effective communication, explore how communication breakdowns within teams with guests can impact operational efficiency and hugely negative.
Good. Thank you. Just to start with, again, probably when I was listening to all our panelists over here and yourself, everything that we are talking about at the end, Mr. Khanna, comes down to collaboration and communication within the organization. Whichever part that we talk about, it is the collaboration of various departments put together that what's being presented to the guests at the end. When we talk about a collaboration, it's actually every hotel, every asset is a big engine that have many small mechanical parts working together to put up the final product over there.
It's an orchestra.
It's an orchestra. Actually, it's an orchestra where what we talk about is that the symphony can only be melodious if all instruments are, playing together in one tune,
And in harmony.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, true. And also in terms of communication, I actually, because collaboration and communication, I feel are very interlinked, they're very closely related. One leads to another. A good communication between the departments actually leads to good relationship, and good relationship actually leads to a good collaboration. Not only good, but a productive collaboration also. One of the basic concerns, again, I'm saying I would quote something from George Bernard Shaw, which says the greatest problem with communication is the illusion that it has happened. Yeah, because it's basically 20% of what people know and 80% of what they apparently understood about it. We all, in terms of collaboration, the communication becomes very important. We, at many times we communicate what we have to communicate, but the point is what's been understood at the other end and how it has been interpreted is a very important part of completing a communication and doing the work at the end. Collaboration between the departments is very critical. A collaboration between front office, housekeeping, front office, finance, sales, front office, reservation. If you put that together, unless the departments are talking to each other and collaborating together, we can never, do a seamless, service experience to our clients. A client could be standing at the check-in counter, could have a, not prepared room, billing issues, what all. I'm saying everything can go to disaster if we are talking about the collaboration not being there. So, a very important part of collaboration comes to management, as I feel, Mr. Khanna. The management actually is important at what common purpose that we are giving to our teams. Are we giving them a common purpose? Are we buying their commitment that they actually buy that purpose and they all gonna work in one direction at the end? We have to have one direction for the entire team, one mission. I think we all talk about that particular aspects when we talk to our teams. It's about, pulling out the differences between them, putting them at the similar level, things like cross trainings, things like team outings, team building exercises, and actually equal treatment of all departments is very important. So they all stay collaborated and stay together. A common celebration is very critical than individual recognitions so that the collaboration gets a purpose. So, I know I'm saying we are running out of time, cut it short. I'm saying we can go on communication further, but communication is very important. It's like the blood running in our body. If it stops running, a different part will stop working.
True. True. If we don't speak, if we don't communicate, we don't communicate what's going on.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So that's extremely important. I think we've had a wonderful session. Extremely important session. It's not a very easy topic, but it's a very important topic, if I may to say, because if we are striving for excellence, we need to get into these aspects, and hospitality is all about striving for excellence, right? Thank you, gentlemen. Don't switch off, but we've had a wonderful show together. I've enjoyed my time. And let me tell you, there's so much to learn because they're impressionable youngsters from within the industry and outside the industry who want to get in, who are going to watch the show, who are actually watching the show live and will watch the recordings. I think there are great lessons. This is a fantastic industry. This gives you a great opportunity to see the world, to see various departments, right? If you think these gentlemen, these 5 gentlemen sitting over here have come through by just, whiling away the time in one department, no, they have not. They've been across geographies. They've been through a whole lot of departments and they burnt midnight oil, right? If you see them in smart designer and dapper suits with brilliant ties and combinations, or they've earned their spurs, right? So be there if you want to be like them. Look at the way they presented their case, right? Look at the assets they had. Look at the large empires they had. And soon they're going to head more senior jobs, larger responsibilities and leading companies, right? So be there, be in there. If I would be you, I would reach out to all of them, call me up, whoever you want to meet, any general manager, right? Talk to them, go see them, catch them on social media, over WhatsApp calls and emails. They are gurus that you want to be under, right? They have so much to offer to you, all right? They've got all the experience that one would need. Thank you, gentlemen. The next 2 shows are going to be in the West. Next Thursday and Friday, we'll be in Mumbai, September 7 and 4 to 5 p.m. Again, some brilliant set of general managers. That'll be our 17th and 18th show. Imagine general manager shows, which are going to be as much as 30, right? And imagine 6 general managers per show. We're talking about more than 200. So 200 general managers on the BW Hotelier GM show platform season 2. I think it's a great initiative. I love it because I'm able to bring to a common platform general managers of every class, of every classification, of every kind of experience and every kind of capability. And that goes a lot. All right. So before I close the show, I want to thank Diversey. Diversey, thank you so much. You really put your hand on our shoulders and given us a buck up. And all that we must say to you is thank you for all your faith in us. Last but not the least, the BW Hotelier Indian Hospitality Summit and Awards, 20th and 21st October, Friday and Saturday. Lock your calendar, be there virtually or physically, but write into us. It's not open to everybody. We will register and we will bring in people. We have a limit of headcount for the summit, 350. For the awards night, we will have to cut off at 450. All right. But to get there, to be the coveted winner, nominate yourself. And the nominations get over on Monday, 4th of September, which is 4 days away. All right. So you have 4 days. Upload. Come on, upload. All right. Break all the records and may the best be nominated by the jury, which is led by Mr. KB Kachru. The West is headed by Faraj Jamal, the North by Suresh, the South by Veer Vijay Singh, and the East by Sandeep Mukherjee. And we have stalwarts, almost 45 of them, who will be judging all entries in 3 levels: qualitative, quantitative, and for top 5 categories on video. All right, so this is good. And these are very honest and straightforward awards. We burn a lot of midnight oils to judge all of you. So thank you, gentlemen. And before I sign off, a huge thank you to my dear and esteemed colleagues at BW Businessworld. Let me begin with Tanvi Ahuja, our CMO, Shweta, Deep Majumdar, Prashant, Kartike, Salman, all right, and Ajit, Saurabh, Amit, and Nilesh. So for every word that you speak is being transcribed and also being carried to social media. So thank you all. Thank you, Shoeb. Thank you, Anirban. Thank you, Rakesh. Thank you, Kapil. And thank you so much, Davinder. God bless you. Such a pleasure having you on our platform. Thank you.
Thank you.
Glad to be here. Thank you very much.
Pleasure, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Pleasure, sir.
Pleasure to be part of this.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Shoeb. Bye-bye.